So, welcome everybody. This is a special marketing session today for Scott Talks. There's a lot of people, like I said, who have been interested in doing this session with Brian. This session will spur your interest and give you an idea of what is out there and what is coming up and what we have available. But this will be just skimming the surface, as Brian will say too. He's got so much information, and the guy is so worth of actual value to us that you got to really pay attention to what we have here, because it's a new ball game for us this year. We had some great marketing people before. We've had a switch in who is on board now, and we are going to be jumping into a whole new fantastic ball game. So I won't step on Brian's toes any further. Brian, why don't you dive right in? Everyone, this is Brian Hutton. He's the new VP of Marketing for InvisMI Mortgage Intelligence. Go ahead, Brian.
Thanks, Scott. So some of you I've already met and talked to, but for anyone who doesn't know me, VP of Marketing for Invis and Mortgage Intelligence. Also still VP of Digital for all of them three. 20 years of marketing experience in everything, but the last 10 in digital specifically. So basically since digital has been a thing, I've been marketing it. So it changes every year. It's exciting stuff. As I say that, my presentation decides to not work. There it goes. Perfect. Okay. One sec. Give me 1 second.
Might be a little slow, Brian, because there's a lot of people on this call, I think, today. I'm just
going to do a quick stop share, and I think the Zoom's slowing it down a lot. So give me 1 second here.
No worries. Yeah.
And we'll try this again. I've never had a delay with Zoom before. This is a first. All right. So you guys can see my screen again? Yes, perfect. Come on, into presentation mode. You can do it. Oh, there we go. Okay. So what we do. So digital services is something I think that's is relatively new to InvisMI, and what we can do and what we can offer our brokers. I thought we would just start with that because we've had some great conversations over the last 6 weeks with brokers, or 6 to 8 weeks with brokers, and overall it just comes up I think almost everyone has said that they weren't aware of what services were available through the marketing department and what we can help you with. So we are responsible for all social and digital marketing for all brands across M3, not just InvisMI. I do InvisMI is like my main focus, but one of the teams under me does everything for all the brands. We can help you with a ton of things. So social media marketing, local SEO analysis, site health reviews. So I know a lot of you have your own websites. So we don't even need access to them. We can go through, pull reports, let you know. We get access to all sorts of nifty tools to let you know how Google sees your site specifically and where you can improve. And we do digital design consultations. So if you're thinking about doing redesigns on your websites, we can talk to you about the best practices for 2022. Database marketing and content creation. So those are kind of the main focuses. We also source agencies for brokers if they're looking at doing something new. We review agencies and digital proposals on behalf of brokers. We help with site migrations, believe it or not, if you're looking at changing agencies. And we provide insights and training on a whole variety of topics, not just for you, but if you're part of a team, we can do that training for your team as well. We will talk a little bit today about some social trends. We're going to go through some top social trends. We're going to talk about some demographics by platform. We're going to talk about a few best practices by platform. And then I'm going to give you a view to everything that is coming up in 2022. So if you are interested in the topics and you're looking for more in-depth training, that is going to be offered through IMI's marketing department for during Q2. So number one trend is snackable content. And what does that mean? So it's literally what it sounds like. It's about content being short. It's about being concise, easy to remember, catchy, You want to make sure you want customers to want more of it. And it's really difficult, right? Like everybody has a lot to say. I'm, like I said to Scott, like I go over time, I think every time I do a presentation. So I try to boil everything down. But that is 2022. You know, it's Zoom burnout. It is, you know, people want to get back in person. They want to have like those interactions. So, and people's attention spans have just gotten shorter and shorter and shorter. Like TikTok's out there now. You know, TikTok and Instagram have been like absolutely huge in the last year. And both of those sort of promote like that short, catchy social media. We want to make things more fun. So I said, more memes, please. When we're producing content, and I know we're like in a serious, we're in a serious world of financial information, and so many brokers I talk to are so worried about how they present themselves and having that sort of professional look and feel on everything that they're doing. We still have to make it fun. We have to make it integrated into our lives. We can't take everything too seriously. We definitely want to make sure that you still have a brand image. You're still putting forward who you are. We're being authentic. We're showing our authentic selves to our customers, and we're giving them something that they can relate to and get a feeling for. You know, they might not be able to not connect with people like they used to connect with people. Now, like they become much more used to connecting with people digitally, but they use social media to get a feel for who they're making that purchase from. Vertical video. So vertical video is literally when you pick up your phone, okay, and you take a video. I can't see it because of my Zoom background, and you literally do it like this, you know what I mean? And you're walking to an office, or you're with a client, you're like, hey, you just signed a deal, whatever, or just working with a lender. Leave in the bloopers. This stuff is easy to produce. Do it in one take, do it in 2 takes. Help people see who you are and connect with you. And like the only thing really stopping you from producing this content is you. Like it's about being, it's just shyness, really. It takes 2 seconds. And if you're looking at how do you use the tools that are available in the social platforms to help you with vertical video, we will actually have dedicated training on that in Q2 as well. Social accountability. So this is massive. And I know we've got a lot of brokers really passionate about Angels in the Night and about giving back to their communities and working with local businesses. This kind of passion carries over really well into social media. You need to have it on your website. It's not just social, it's digital trends, right? Like you got to have it on your website. It's got to be throughout all of your channels. But it has to be things that you're actually investing your time or money in. It can't just be virtue signaling. People will call you out if you're just virtue signaling. So really making that part of your overall business persona and displaying what you're so passionate about giving back to is very important. Current stats so that show that most millennials and Z like Zoomers, they pick vendors. 70% of their purchasing behavior is driven by social accountability. So having that inside of your social media is definitely something you want to do. And the last is marketing to the platform and knowing what platform to market on. And we're going to talk about a little bit of that for the rest of the presentation. But I think I get asked about TikTok 100 times a day. Okay, like every broker I talk to wants to know, should they be marketing on TikTok? And in the same sentence, they'll be like, well, so many people are doing so many silly things that are things that are like not serious. That's what TikTok is. So if you're not willing to put yourself out there that way, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a ton of places you can focus your time and energy and you can win. But let's make sure we're picking the right platform for how you want to interact with people. If you don't feel comfortable interacting in that way, you're not going to do it, right? Like at the end of the day, Social media takes time, takes resources up to do correctly. If you're not enjoying it, you're not going to do it. So that's it. So we will talk a little bit about each one of the platforms and kind of how they work. Do you want to save all questions to the end, Scott, or do you just want to do it per slide?
Let's save all the questions for. I don't have any just yet, but if anything comes up, I'll kind of see if it applies right away. But yeah, let's kind of keep it to the end for now.
Perfect. So next, we're going to talk a little bit about social demographics. This is something that comes up all the time. Facebook's dead. It's all old people on Facebook. Nobody young is there anymore. TikTok is the only thing that matters. Everybody has a perception. So this slide here is to help demystify that. This was a rather large survey that was done in the US. And what you're seeing, each number represents a percentage of people who replied that yes, they interact with that platform at least once per day. Okay, so that's what you're seeing here. When you look at the overall demographics, you will see that YouTube is crushing it. Everyone uses YouTube. Is actually, and YouTube Premium have replaced television for a lot of people. So a lot of their overall the share of time they're spent is disproportionately high on YouTube. So that's why the numbers are so dark on that one. But right behind YouTube is Facebook. Okay, and YouTube marketing is a completely different thing. If you do need help with it, we can help you. We can show you how to do ad placement. We can give you training documents. We can help guide you on that. If you're doing YouTube videos or doing a YouTube channel, we can offer you coaching in that as well. But that is very time intensive, and it's not for 99% of people. So we're going to focus on sort of the social platforms that are listed to the right of it. Facebook, as you can see, 18 to 29, 70% of respondents still interact with it once a day. 30 to 49, 77% of the respondents still interact with one a day. Yes, I understand that there is a 30 to 64 has a higher percentage in their demographics than the 18 to 29. But when we're looking at refis, we're looking at first-time home buyers realistically in the Canadian market, we're going to want to be skewing a little bit older anyways. And there's still a good number of Zoomers using it. And if we look at income, 70% of respondents that had over over $75,000 a year are using Facebook at least once a day. So that gives you an idea that you're still hitting high value clients in the demographics that you're interested in by using Facebook. Instagram. So Instagram has kind of become the Facebook of 2020. I know it's owned by the same company, but what you're seeing on that platform now is a higher CPC, so higher cost per conversion than Facebook, but you're also generally getting higher quality leads off of Instagram now than you are on Facebook as well. It's become kind of more of like a premium advertising platform and a premium content platform as well. It's much more difficult to produce content for Instagram that resonates with your followers than Facebook. Instagram is very visual. What you're producing has to really catch people's attention at just a glance, right? Which can be difficult in the financial industry. And it often requires building strong partnerships with local businesses, real estate agents, doing cross promotions, which is fantastic. And it's super successful, but you do need to invest time in it. It is a sweet spot for a lot of brokers. You do see that who are looking at getting kind of a younger clientele. So you're looking at 18 to 29, 30 and ages 30 to 49 with great percentages. And you're looking at generally you got a nice chunk of high income users using Instagram as well. So it's a great platform to focus on if you're looking at creating that kind of visual high impact content. And then when you go down through the other channels, it is actually kind of what you would expect for the most part. Like LinkedIn, we're going to talk about in it as its own thing. LinkedIn has gone back to being a lot more of a professional networking platform than it was, say, 2 years ago. And I'll go into that and on the next slide, but it's, more high income earners that are using it, which is great. But there's a whole P's and Q's to using LinkedIn now. There's the friend slap which is like the worst thing you can do, where you like invite someone to join your network and immediately bombard them with like a lead request. It's the most annoying thing in the world. But it is actually a very good platform, and it's going through a transition right now. And where LinkedIn content is more about starting conversations based on expertise. Okay, so you're spending your time writing articles. You're spending your time doing market research, or takes on interest rates, or it's a much more professional approach. But your goal is to start the conversation. After you start the conversation, so it's staying involved in the conversation. LinkedIn content rewards constant interaction. That's how the algorithm works. So again, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But it gives you an idea of what you're looking at here when you're looking at producing it. Again, good mix across all ages, and higher, and does skew to a higher income, higher education bracket. TikTok, so it's the hot button that everybody wants to talk about all the time. Okay, it's very young, so it is getting more widely acceptable. It's been the top app or the second app for the last 6 quarters, I think, being downloaded. But it does skew younger, so 18 to 29. You can see is really where it shines. And as soon as you get into 30 to 49, you're only getting 22% of respondents that interact with it daily. Okay, so what you have is a young group that spends a lot of time on it, like an absurd amount of time on it, and then it just kind of falls off. It is picking up. People are getting more involved with it, but the content is something that is unique to the platform. You can use some of it in LinkedIn, in Instagram, some of it on Facebook, but a lot of it requires a lot of creativity. You can't take yourself too seriously. You got to be willing to put yourself out there in goofy kind of ways. You got to stay on top of the trends. You are catering to a younger audience. So is there any question about the social demos that are presented? We can hold it to the end too. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm actually so surprised to see the TikTok one, considering how many people think that it's a necessity for us to use in this industry, when the actual people that they're kind of targeting here won't even be looking for houses in Ontario either, right? So it's like, I mean, we know how hard it is for anyone to be affording a house, but this is surprising for me. So that's pretty wild.
Again, this is the end of 2021, right? So this is skewed. You will see more and more uptake in the 30 to 49 age group, but people forget there's also Reels, right? So Instagram has the Reels feature because people are already ingrained into the Meta platform, which is Facebook, Instagram platform. If you want to watch videos, and now that there are TikTok videos are being kind of posted on Instagram as well, your feed is going to provide it to you. So there's less and less incentive for people already ingrained into the Instagram platform who are time poor to go download a new platform and then learn it. So the uptake's been, I think, that's slower than what people expect.
Interesting.
I think, and everyone has that nephew or niece or son or daughter or whatever who's like, man, all the TikTok dances and this and that, and it's all over media, and I get it. But it's just from a business perspective, I think this last quarter has really been the start of businesses really trying to advertise and produce content for TikTok in a major way. Again, they're trying to hit the Zoomers for the most part.
Perfect.
Cool. All right, next slide. Platform tips. So we're just going to go through them each one. Just check my time here. See how I'm doing. Okay, 23 minutes in. That's good. I'm only going to take up another 10 or 15 minutes of your time, and then we can go to questions. Okay. So Facebook. Okay. So we just talked about the reputation of being older. Not true at all. 60% of users are under 44, and they're very high income set of users. 98% of users on Facebook now view it on mobile. which is crazy. So what does that mean to you? That means if you're producing content that isn't clearly mobile friendly, it is almost useless. That's what you have. That's basically what you have to think of.
Brian, just a quick question, because I know I've had this question before. If you're producing it on your computer, and is there a way to make sure that it can be seen via mobile, or is that already assumed that it would be?
Yeah, Facebook lets you see it across different platforms, but you just want to double check it on your phone after you.
Okay.
That takes a second. Just double check it. It's more about how you produce the content, right? So like if you're producing content that has 5 paragraphs underneath it, no one's reading it, man. Nobody's going through their phone and sitting there and like reading the fine text. It's just not happening, right? Like, so I think there's like this misconception, because a lot of brokers, or like myself, I work social media every day, and I'm looking at it on a 40-inch screen, and I can read everything. You got to always step back and put it on the little screen here, and then go, does it still make sense, right? Facebook has changed a lot of how their algorithms work. And I think this is where a lot of frustration brokers have, is they don't understand why people don't see their posts, okay? And they don't understand why they don't see other people's posts. And I don't know how many times I get a call, how come this isn't up on Facebook, or this isn't up on Instagram? It is, but you don't interact with the posts that we're putting out. You're not interacting with similar posts, or you don't follow us, so you don't see it. So right now, in the old days, once upon a time, like 3-4 years ago, which is ancient history in social media world, you used to see everything from everybody that you followed, okay, as well as suggestive posts from like vendors. Now, Facebook has really monetized their advertising streams. Okay, they are the second largest digital advertising stream now, right behind Google. They're just a little ahead of Amazon. They want to make money. Okay. And so what they've done by doing that is making Facebook effectively social database marketing. That's the best way to think of it. When you have people like and follow you, what you're effectively doing is adding them to your database. That's how you have to wrap your mind around it. 54% of every single thing that people see are on Facebook directly come from people that they like and follow. Okay, so stuff gets cut out. The other group is paid ads. So if you're posting stuff, okay, with 3 followers, people aren't liking it, they're not following you, you're not asking people to follow you, you're not on your personal account asking them to follow your business account, you're not integrating your work and your life together, you're not interacting with other like groups and posts, either socially or business wise. You're not being social, right? Like if Scott posts, okay, and I don't interact with it, and then Lilia posts and I don't interact with it, and then Amon posts and I don't interact with it, and then Maria posts, well, it might not show me Maria's posts anymore, because it's decided that I don't want to see those type of posts, right? Like there's been 4 posts that have gone through. So the best way to do that, right, is it's the golden rule. Treat people like you want to be treated. You want people to interact with your posts, interact with their posts, start discussions, be social. Think of it as small email marketing to a database. That is an easy way to think of it. If you ask people on your posts, like you put links to your website or whatever, Facebook will actually reduce the visibility of your post. Facebook wants people to stay on Facebook. All right. So I get asked all the time, should I even have a business page anymore? Like social best practices say that your personal life needs to be, meshed in with your corporate life. And, it's easier for me to manage one page. True. But you need a center where you're able to convert those leads, where you can post your website, when you can post things about you that are not on Facebook, and driving them to that corporate piece. The corporate page is usually the easiest thing to do. And then lastly, best times to post: Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. So those are your days. If you are doing Facebook marketing, those are the days you want to hit. Stories are your best type of content. You don't need to do stories, but stories are the best type of content. And you want to post in the mornings, usually, for financial content. So somewhere between 9 and 11 a.m. is ideal. The next sort of jump in response rate is just after lunch. So those are your two. So people check finance news is basically when they first get to their desk. That's the way to think of Facebook. Instagram. So how do I measure success on Instagram? Average engagement's dropped about 25% on Instagram in the last year, and that's because you have less engagement because the younger demographics time is split between TikTok and Instagram now. So that's the easy way to think of it. For financial industry news, 0.5 or 0.85% engagement is considered good. Okay, so that gives you an idea. That's your base. It's less than 1%. So if 1% of your followers are interacting, or 1%, you're doing well. That's the way to think of it. It has become a very sweet spot demographically for a lot of brokers from a demographic perspective, like the demographics that we just looked at. You're looking at that 29 to 44 higher income individual in a lot of cases, and then also have sort of that younger group coming up, but it's a nice ratio for a lot of brokers. If you are producing posts, the next thing, and I just was off a call about this, that carousel posts are performing best. So what's a carousel post, and why do I care about producing a carousel post? So before, on Instagram, you would go and produce a full story, right? Like you try to video and make it as personal or professional as possible, sprinkled in with the multiple posts. Now you're able to tell a concurrent story through a series of posts and probably get your best response rate on it. So what does that mean? I'll give you an example. So instead of doing a short 2-minute video, doing my whole setup with my, my circle, my circle light and my, cell phone holder and everything else. Now I can literally take one image of me sitting down at the computer being like, oh, rise and grind. Then I take another picture of me with this slide open and this group. Then I take another one of my post going up, like whatever. And then another one of, hey, reach out to me if you want Instagram tips. It's way easier to produce the content.
Quicker too.
And that responds better than any. People love it. It's like definitely the new creative trend on Instagram. Vertical video still trending. 5 stories to get 70% brand retention. So that's basically what it is. If you are doing stories and you are doing one a day, you are looking at somewhere between 20 and 25% brand retention. So 1 in 4 people are going to remember you, and they're going to remember you less than a week. If you want to stick in people's brains, you got to do 5 stories a day, which is a lot, and you can do that at least 3 times a week. So that is the commitment on stories. Again, they're got to do them very organic, very authentic. Just do it quickly off your camera. Get a selfie stick if you don't have short arms, but that's how to produce that. Tuesdays are the best day to post on Instagram, 100%. Weekends are by far the worst, which is counterintuitive. People think, people are sitting around and scrolling through when they're not at work, but what they are doing is doing it on Tuesdays. Tuesdays, I think, are heavy meeting days, and people are secretly scrolling through their phones when their camera's off. Not accusing anybody of doing that if your camera's off right now. And the biggest thing is 70% of users say that Instagram affects their buying purchases for goods and services. So being on Instagram has become massively influential to customers' buying habits. So the easy thing that I've been starting to say to people when they ask me to do looking at their social media is, would you hire you from your social media?
No, that's a good question.
I just got to be honest with yourself. Like if you go on your social media and you're really honest with yourself, do you get to feel who you are from that and you go, yeah, this is somebody I want to do business with. This makes a lot of sense. And then if you want to get really self-critical, pick your 3 biggest competitors in your area, look at their social media and say, would I still pick me over them? And that's really your test. All right, and we're going to go to the next 2. So we've got TikTok here, and we have LinkedIn. Okay. LinkedIn is a platform in transition. So if anybody who heard me speak before early 2020 probably heard me talk a lot about all of the crazy tricks you could do with LinkedIn. So you would post on LinkedIn, you post a blog, then you would post on LinkedIn, then you would link back to your blog, then you would tell your Facebook group to interact with it. Those posts would recycle the post over and over and over again on LinkedIn, which would increase Google's rating of the blog, which would improve your blog SEO. There's crazy tricks you could do. Google caught onto it, and Google delisted LinkedIn for 3-4 weeks while they figured out their algorithm and put in some restrictions. So it does not work like it used to work anymore. So now what we've got is a platform that is really in transition. One of the trends in 2022, almost everybody is forecasting, is the rise of like influencers or conversational content on LinkedIn. And you can kind of already see it. So if you're on LinkedIn actively, you start seeing people posting videos, even just short, like 1-minute videos on their take on things. You can join groups. You can use the article feature. There's a whole toolkit to like build out your LinkedIn presence, and you can really create a very captivating persona on the platform to get people to follow you, and that you're basically getting it's soft sells on most of your product or most of your services. So you're putting yourself through as an expert. You're having conversations with people because of your expertise. People are reaching out to you and saying, hey, I need to refi my house, can you give me a hand? That's really how you market on LinkedIn in 2022. It's very, very different. And the best day is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for LinkedIn. So those are your days you want to post. And then we've got TikTok. Okay, so TikTok, up and coming platform still, which is what we talked about. It skews younger. It's almost 60% female that are on TikTok as well. So when you're producing content, you need to keep that into mind. The big advantage of TikTok is the algorithm promotes organic growth of content. So if you use your hashtags correctly, so it will basically suggest your content into the feed of another customer who's looking at like content. So for example, you can follow one fitness trainer, okay? And you start watching fitness videos, and then what you will see is that fitness videos are constantly interspersed inside of your feed from people you don't follow, okay? And the more popular your post is, okay, amongst that interspersion, the more it will show it to a larger and larger and larger group. If you get a truly viral TikTok video, and I mean something 50,000 or 60,000 people see it or whatever, it will assume that all of your videos are also going to be viral. So everything you post for the next little while will have like a massive reach. This makes it very appealing to a lot of businesses and services, because you only need to hit it big like once or twice, and then TikTok kind of markets for you. I think the big one that just I think there's a big study that came out just on Duolingo. For anybody who's trying to use a new language, might be familiar with the app. They posted this like really goofy overlay of their owl and some guy talking over it. And it generated something like 1 million views in an hour and a half and 100,000 comments. And now you see the Duolingo owl all over TikTok. And like, it's amazing if you can get something to go live. Now, something like that though, super raw. Okay, it's not professionally done. It's an owl with a dude's lips and eyes superimposed on it talking, right? Like, it's silly. if people are concerned about like really professional, being like ultra professional and very conservative, probably that platform is going to be too out there for you. You need to not take yourself way too seriously. You need to have music on a lot of your content as well. You need to be staying up on the trends. You want to make sure that you're integrating those trends into your content that you're posting. So there are some mortgage brokers I've seen that have started marketing on TikTok, as well as real estate agents. And yeah, like they're doing the goofy TikTok dances, right? Because they want to get put into the TikTok dance stream, have you like their post, and then they go, okay, well, hey, Brian likes Scott's TikTok dance. Maybe Brian would like other content that Scott's producing, and it's going to put it forward. So that's basically how TikTok works. We are going to have training sessions just on TikTok, though, for anybody who's interested. Sorry, going to the next slide. It's taking a long time. Come on, you can do it. And Zoom really slows it down. Okay, here we go. Okay, what's next? Okay, so what are steps that you can take, and what can you expect? So we have a ton of digital webinars coming out in Q2. So InvisMI will have their own group of them. We will have 2022 digital and social trends. So similar to this, but it'll also include things like SEO, and it's going to be a longer session. Facebook one, so how to create content, what trends look like, how to find trends. We will have Facebook 2, which is ad placement best practices, so a little bit more complex for people who are choosing to advertise. We'll have something on Instagram. We will have a LinkedIn on how to start conversation and use the total toolkit. So this is not just like on how to optimize your profile. This is also how to use the other tools inside of the platform, how to build content, how to start conversations on it. TikTok actually, for anyone, I don't know if anyone's tried to post anything on TikTok, but there are a whole suite of publishing tools kind of inside of TikTok, and there's apps that you can use to help build that content. So we are going to literally have a how to publish and build content. So we'll go through examples of what's trending, give you examples on how you can post it and stuff. And I will not be doing TikTok dances as part of the conversation or part of the presentation, I promise you. But you will be able to do them if you want to. We've got Google Places. So Google My Business is no longer a thing. It is now Google Places. We are going to show you how to do a setup start to finish. So we have a couple guinea pig brokers where we have taken over their Google Places, or they don't have Google Places set up yet. And we will be doing it one for Invis and one for MI from scratch for them, all the steps, videoing the whole thing, and giving you kind of like a step-by-step on how to set it up the same way an agency would set it up for you. We've got a database management and creating content that resonates seminar that we will be doing, and that is going to be about how to find things like trends and how to market to them. So what an example of that is, like, there is a tool called Google Trends. There are other free tools that are available online that we will show you. So when we were moving into the spring market, okay, I guess we're still moving in the spring market. One of the things that was trending like 2 weeks ago was, how does gift giving for mortgages work? Okay, it's actually still trending from a Google search perspective. So what does that mean? Like, what is that means that you've got groups that are trying to figure out how to gift money to their children, okay, to buy a house, and you've got groups that are younger who are trying to understand what that means and how that works for them. So then you can take those trends to create content, then send that out to your database. So we'll be going through that. We'll be teaching you how to use those tools, and we'll be teaching you how to take those searches and convert them into content that you can use. Local SEO basics for 2022. Won't be super technical. We will do it a very light version, but what we are going to do is give you sort of the base information that if you're working with an agency, you kind of know what questions to ask and what to look for, and give you a little bit of training on that. And then the last one we're going to have is how to build a social channel in 4 easy steps. This is not like what we're trying to do here is we hear over and over and over again, I don't know where to start. Okay. MI gives you so much material to work with, from the social media management program to the canned posts on iDesk in the What's New section, to the MMG that is available to you to create posts. We're going to walk through all of those, and then we are going to give you a little bit of tips and tricks on how to then intersperse your own content into that. In addition to that, you can, if you're serious about digital or social, you can book one-on-one sessions with yourself or your team with me. Or if you need digital audits, you need me to look at your website or your social media channels and all that stuff, you can book an appointment for that as well. They do it if you book in advance, though. They do take a lot. I have to run reports and use programs that don't work well when I'm on Zoom. So you do have to book it in advance. But that is the presentation, and I left myself 15 minutes for Q&A, and I finished exactly at 1:45. So that is dead on.
Way to go, Brian. That's good, man. This is a new step for you. The guys get so much passion about this topic. It's tough to pry them away from it. So I'm glad you had a lot going on there, Brian, which was wonderful. And at the end part here, guys, is a really great look at what's coming up and what we have to offer going forward. But we have a couple questions. This is a compliance one, but for posts on social media, for a compliance perspective, should we have our license numbers there?
Well, for sure. Yeah, you can definitely put your license number in. It's never going to hurt you. But I think the general, when we've been dealing with FSRA around social media posts, generally speaking, as long as it's clear to a customer what your license number is, that's fine. So for example, if you're using, let's say you're sharing something from the corporate page. So we're going to actually be splitting the social channels apart. You'll see an announcement come out either late this week or early next week that Invis is going to have one channel and MI is going to have a channel. So you'll be able to share directly from the MI channel, add a little blurb in. Now, if you share that on your corporate page, okay, where you have your license number clearly visible at the top, that's probably fine. You won't need it there. But if you're sharing it on your personal as a corporate post, then you're probably going to have to add your license number in. So it's not as easy as do you have to add it on every post. It depends on the platform, how you're doing it, and you just have to ask yourself, if I was a customer, would I clearly know that I worked for MI and is my license number visible? That's basically it.
Wonderful. And then what are your thoughts, Brian, on email marketing using services like MailChimp? I know we didn't really jump into that. It's not really social media oriented, but it is something that is out there. But what are your thoughts on it? I'll give my opinion on it too after you're done.
So email and database marketing is awesome. I think it's always great, especially if you've built your database, and that's why we have it included in the webinars that we're going to be doing in Q2. If you use MailChimp, I mean, you can use Boss, you can use whatever you want to use to do it. I think the content that you're putting out is a lot more important than the platform. And if you're looking at doing things like, drip emails and database and that automated emails and stuff, I think you need to brace yourself for like unsubscribes and all that good stuff. Like you need to be actively building your database if you're going to be doing that, because you're going to also be losing people regularly on your database. So I think it comes down to content and creating value. And if you're creating value, I think anything you do with your database within reason is probably going to be a net positive for you.
Perfect. Yeah, that's it. And then, this one feeds off it, but is it necessary to have the MI logo on all marketing? And is that going to be something that they must have in theirs if they're doing it?
Again, like, are you posting like a meme, or are you posting something with financial advice that's like trying to
I
get
think they're
people.
just trying to, I'll answer that off thing, Manoush, because I just want to make sure because it's not necessary. Like if you're doing a video, like a bunch of videos through TikTok or sorry, Instagram or something like that, you don't have to have like a little watermark in the corner of everything, right? So that's where I'm kind of thinking that it's kind of a loaded question. If you're doing a big campaign, it might be nice to have it because it tells people who you are.
You have to have it if you're doing a full campaign.
Yeah, so, and that's something that's a must. When it comes to just quick posts, if you're putting up maybe someone else's, like something quick like that, like you don't necessarily have to, but when it comes to the bigger stuff, yes. But Anushka, just maybe run it by me if there is something you have a question about, or if there's something you're putting up there. But I think at this time it's kind of use your better judgment. But Brian,
we have a great compliance department, and we will look at anything you want to look at, and we can create some examples for you as well to help clarify when to use it and when not to. I can add that to the list of things to do.
Awesome. And does paid advertising work on Facebook? The big question I get all the time is paid advertising working on Facebook? And
it's a great question. So what is your definition of work? That's no, I'm not so serious. I'm serious. So I've worked with a lot of brokers on a lot of different paid programs. And I think it's important to keep your expectations reasonable. So give you an idea, like financial services during peak months, you're looking at like a minimum on social media marketing of like $7 to $8 per click. So let's say you get 10 clicks to get a lead, then you spent $70 to get a lead. And then let's say you have 10 of those and you close one. So you spend $700 to close one mortgage plus all of the time that's got into that. So depending on what you value your time at and how big that mortgage was, depends if it worked for you or not. Now, if you do it in off times, maybe you're paying $1.50, $2 per click, but you need more clicks to generate the same number of leads. So I think it's important to remember there's no magic bean. Like it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a social media marketing is effectively database building and then marketing to that database. If there was I had a broker once tell me that their expectations for a digital ad space that they were purchasing was that they were going to get a return of 20 to 1. If you could get a return of 20 to 1, I would not be sitting here talking to you about social media marketing. I'd be sitting in my 300-foot yacht somewhere in the Pacific, just printing money. Like that's not a thing, guys. Like you're looking, generally speaking, at returns of it once you're good at it of 1.2 to 1.3 on your investment. But then you're building that database out, and you're hopefully getting to a point, just like you can email your database, that when you put posts out, you're generating, passive, I won't say passive income. I don't want to use that term, but you're generating business passively by running a successful social media platform and leveraging your database.
Perfect stuff. Wonderful. So that's all the questions we have here, Brian. I mean, you've done a great job today. This is wonderful news or wonderful stuff to listen to. And I really appreciate everyone coming out here. I know this is stuff you all have to focus on, whether you're comfortable on it or not. This is something that maybe you should definitely be taking a look at if you're looking to grow your business. But thanks so much, Brian. Is there anything else you want to add here? Or?
No, that's it. Like, thanks for having me. And it's been great.
Okay, well, everyone, and thank you so much for coming again, and thanks, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day. If there's any questions, follow up with me or follow up with Brian. We'd be more than happy to help. If there's anything that we're going to be doing going forward in terms of a campaign, come to me. I will build it out with you guys and present it to Brian. I think that's best, right, Brian? Like, we should get the information from me. I put it towards Trello. We do it that way, right? So
yeah, that's ideal. That's definitely
just because it's going to get, he's a busy guy. We only have 2 people working with him. So come to me. I'll go to him, and that way we can add it in with all the details that you need. And Brian will have everything you need for him to do it in a timely manner. So again, thanks a lot, guys. Brian, I will follow up with you later on today, but at this point right now, I'll let you get back to your busy schedule. And awesome. Thank you, everyone, for coming on. And thanks a lot again, guys. Have a great day.
Perfect. Thanks, Scott.
Bye-bye.